This podcast contains foul language, foul ideas, and even fouler hosts. Please don't take it seriously. We don't.
Hello and welcome to Solvenators, our brand new podcast about saving this world one fucking problem at a time. There's a lot of things wrong with this planet, a lot of deeply important issues that need to be resolved, and you know what? We're going to do it. That's right, my name is Phil Austin, I am massive smart. I can count to over 10 without using my fingers. That's, yeah, lap me up, dogs. That's me. Over 10 without fingers. Brilliant. You should see it. It's amazing. It's a party trick. Also, Brett Allen is here. Hello, Brett.
Hello, Phil.
Hello. You alright?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Brett is huge clever. In fact, Brett can say the whole alphabet in less than 6 seconds.
I can.
Can't you, Brett?
Yeah.
You can. Show them what you got, Brett. Go. Ready, go.
The whole alphabet.
That's not that. There's a funny joke. But you got to do the real trick that you've shown us many a time.
Okay.
In under 6 seconds. Ready, go.
A B C D F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y Z.
Oh shit!
That might be
Look
a new
at
record.
I'm a bit wet. It's good.
What can I say?
Chris is here as well. Hi, Chris. You alright?
I'm spiffing.
Spiffing. Brilliant. Super duper. Word on the street is that Chris is special wise. And Chris is so special wise, in fact, that he can tell you what chocolate bar you're thinking of without any questions at all. Can't you, Chris?
Yep, every time.
You see, you can. Like this. Ready? Chris. Show him, Chris. Right, ready? Okay, I'm thinking one go.
Chomp.
Yes! Bloody Brett, you do it as well. It's good.
Right, thinking of one.
Dime.
Yeah, go on then.
Right. So yeah, see? You're in safe hands. I can count to 10 without using my fingers, and Brett can say the whole alphabet in less than 6 seconds, and Chris sees chocolate bars. It's good. So you're all probably thinking that we're super brilliant and basically we're gods. And you're all inferior, like worm tards in comparison. But don't worry. We'll sort out the planet, and then we're going to solvenate it, because we are solvenators, and then we're going to make this world better for you. And all we ask in return is that you listen every week, and you learn from all of our wisdomness, and you live better lives. That'd be good. So for the first Solvenators podcast, we're going to sort out the one thing that all human beings need to survive. Food and drink. 2 things. We're going to sort out the 2 things that all human beings need to survive. Food and drink. Like, what the fuck is wrong with trifle, and how can we make it so it's actually nice? That's mine. Ooh. That's the first thing we should sort out, because trifle is vile. So trifle shouldn't be a thing as far as I'm concerned. So what do we do? What do we do about trifle, and how can we make it so it's actually nice? Or what do we do about trifle?
I mean, obviously, I'm on board with you.
Me too.
Good, of course. So's Brett, because no one likes trifle.
No, we need to save the world from trifle.
My feelings on trifle have always been like a lovely Aston Martin's lovely, and a nice Ferrari's really great, and a Porsche, they're good. But if you crash them all together into a big pile, it's not much use to anyone.
And then try to eat them, then it's not good.
No, it's bad times.
You're not describing a trifle, Chris. You're describing a pile up at a motorsport show.
Well, trifle is the food equivalent of that, and I like neither of those things.
What's in a trifle? Because it just tastes like sick with different flavoured sick on top of it. Okay, what are the 3 things, Brett?
Trifle, isn't it? Like
trifle's not one of the ingredients, but go on.
No, the clue's in the name. So I guess try. God damn it, Chris.
Oh, I see.
Work with me, boy.
All right.
Right.
It's made of 3 rifles.
Trifle. Trifle is it's English cuisine.
I don't know.
Already I'm starting to see the problem.
Yeah.
In a dessert made with, it's got fruit, thin layer of sponge fingers or sponge cake soaked in cherry or another fortified wine and custard. It can be topped with whipped cream.
I mean,
see, they sound good, don't they? It should
yeah.
work, but then you eat it and it's like you're eating your nan's tongue. It's gross.
Well, maybe
it's
that's
got the same consistency.
Maybe that's it. Like deconstructed food is like a hip thing that hip people do. So why don't we start a trend of deconstructed trifles, which is just 3 bowls of the separate ingredients which are nice on their own, and then you can eat them at your leisure.
So you mean buy the ingredients
and then don't combine them? Yeah. Because like let's say you sat around the table at Christmas, because trifle's a Christmas thing. I was like, oh, does anybody want any trifle? Like, yeah, I'd love some trifle. And then you just bring out all the ingredients separately. It's like, if you want to be sick in the head and combine them, you do you. But let's not ruin it for everybody else here.
Maybe it needs more things.
Yeah. Maybe what's good? Lego's good.
A quad full. Yeah. Stick Lego in there.
Cool, chuck some in there.
A layer of Lego.
Nice.
So it's like, if we put the Lego at the bottom, then what you do is you eat your dessert, and then you've got a little toy at the bottom. You can put something together.
Brilliant.
Yeah. It's like,
yeah. So bottom layer of Lego.
Cool. And also, when you pour the sherry on, it'll just go through the sponge briefly and then kind of sit among the Lego, so it won't get too soggy.
It doesn't have to be sponge at all. We could get rid of all these. Let's just make a new trifle.
Okay,
Let's
cool.
just get rid of all of the previous
ingredient
ingredients
1, Lego.
and make a better trifle.
Yes.
Yeah. Bottom layer has to be Lego, not the top, because that's silly.
So what's the next layer?
What else is good?
Yeah. What's the second?
What do people like? Steak.
Sex. Can't put that in a trifle, can you?
Well,
oh.
There are cookbooks. What about steak? Everyone likes steak.
Yeah, I like steak.
So Lego and steak. So it's got to be a dessert. Steak's not a dessert thing. That's more of a main. You couldn't, because you could have a trifle. A trifle could follow a steak dinner, couldn't it? But if you got steak and more steak, you're just going a bit OTT.
Okay.
What does everybody like? Everybody. Does anyone not like chocolate?
Nobody counts.
No one doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool,
so
that's
right. What's the best? What is the best chocolate though? We've got to pick the best one.
Do you know, I've got to be honest, my favourite chocolate is Kinder Egg chocolate, but we're in danger of just making a Kinder Egg here.
Just lob some Kinder Eggs in. That's fine. Chuck some Kinder Eggs in.
Yeah, Kinder Eggs. Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Toys on toys. So you got this layer of Kinder Eggs, and you open them up, and you got little toys in there while you're eating your weird Kinder chocolate. We'll throw the foil in as well.
There could be some more Lego bits.
And then, that. And then at the very, very bottom, there's like Lego, and you're like, oh, I thought I had all the toys, but now look, Lego. Wow. You can build Lego as well. This works. Right. Bottom layer, Lego. Second layer, Kinder Eggs.
Yes.
All of it.
Needs a topping.
Okay.
What about jelly? Everyone likes jelly.
Oh, no.
Not jelly.
It's not that I dislike jelly. It's just jelly is like the most... It's like the sundae of desserts. And not Sunday with an A-E, I mean with an A-Y.
Yeah, there's already that Sunday of desserts.
It's really dull. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's like nobody eats jelly and goes, this is definitely the thing I wanted. Everybody can think of something they'd rather be eating other than jelly.
It's kind of a non-food, isn't it?
It's not jelly, because that's crap.
Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Oh,
people like that.
Well, yeah, I mean they had alcohol in the other one. They had sherry.
Trifle 1.0, yeah.
Can we find a middle ground and go for Jack Daniels jelly?
Jack Daniels jelly on the top.
Yeah, Jelly Daniels. Why not?
I'm sure that's possible. Jelly Daniels. Jelly Daniels with a second layer of Kinder Eggs, all of it, and then a bottom layer of Lego.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Serve with whipped cream or custard to suit.
Yeah, to suit. It's optional.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they're extras. Done. See? It's easy. One down. Many million to do.
Nailed it.
To go. So that's it. Trifle's done. There. Have you got one, Brett? What do you want to fix in the food and drink world? Because trifles, underline that. Done. Okay. Owned it.
Trifle's done. Yeah, could you help me fix corned beef tins, please?
Specifically the tins?
Specifically, yeah. The corned beef is fine. I'm cool with corned beef. I like my beef like I like my women. But the tins are a nightmare.
Hang on. Corned?
Yes.
Right.
And other sort of nondescript meats also come in the same kind of tin. It looks like a sort of trapezium. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like a fucking Aztec pyramid that's got little men sacrificing people on top. I don't know why that is for starters.
You need to change supermarkets. They shouldn't look like that at all.
I don't get the tapering. I don't understand. It's like some kind of trick to make you buy less corned beef.
So what I'm picturing in my head for corned beef, is this the one where you need a key?
It is the key.
Right. You need
the sacred corned beef key.
Yeah.
I have always wondered if you have made a product and you require giving somebody a key in order to get into it. Maybe you should rethink your design. That is pretty mental. All right, so corned beef. You just want to know how to get into corned beef easier. Is that what you're after?
It just needs to be better because I mean, we've all been. I don't know if you guys have, but I've been in a situation where you've lost the key for some reason. The key is not on the tin. And then what do you do?
Okay, corned beef tins.
So what we want something that's gonna give you full access to the contents of the can, quickly and efficiently. No keys required.
But it's got to stay as fresh as it does. I mean, fresh is a given term here, but fresh as it does inside one of those cans, because that's the big thing about it, isn't it? You can keep them through a nuclear apocalypse, they'll still be good.
Well, you mentioned nuclear. Let me bring a different explosive in. What about a small ring of plastic explosive around the top of the can, detonates the top of the can right off, and you get the fun bonus that it actually starts to heat up the food for you as well.
It's also heating up the various shrapnel in your face. Other than that,
well, you can detonate it from another room.
I was going to say we're going to have to bring in a new kitchen appliance, which is the blast shield, the corned beef blast shield. You keep it behind the microwave.
I'm a bit worried because I don't like it when foil from the tray goes on the bottom of my chips, so I really don't want shards of tin in my beef.
You say you don't like it when foil gets on your chips. Like, if there is some on there, you're like, oh, this is an inconvenience. Chomp, 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 foil, foil, foil. You can just take the foil off or not eat that chip.
Well, it's full of nutrition, to be fair.
I don't think I'd want to explode the tin off. I mean, for a start, that is going to get expensive. Plastic explosives are very expensive.
I'll take your word for it.
And corned beef the price of corned beef will go up.
It's already
which
quite
is
expensive.
Bad for Brett.
Yeah.
Who is one of the 10 people who still buys corned beef.
But imagine, instead of getting like a little key attached to the side, you get a little like comedy explosive plunger attached to the side of your can.
No, I like the idea of exploding it. I just don't think we shouldn't use plastic explosives.
Oh,
I feel like we should little charges. That's not right. There's got to be a better way to do it.
What if it's a pressure thing? So it comes under immense pressure, and then you I don't know, you activate some kind of seal, and the tin, the end is burst off, and compressed corned beef comes shooting out.
That
still sounds a lot like an explosion, so I'm entirely on board.
But it's a beef explosion, baby.
Could you? I'm thinking, right? You know, like UHT milk cartons.
Yes. Mhm.
Could you not just make one of them for corned beef
and then a carton of beef?
Yeah. you take the lid off and you just squeeze the corned beef out because it's pretty much just a splodge of corned beef anyway, and it's not going to taste any fucking worse than it already does coming out of one of them. So you could just squidge it out.
Sort of pureed.
Pint of corned beef, please, love.
I guess you could.
Do that.
Yeah, it'd be like a Capri Sun and a UHT milk. You just got your foil. It's very post-apoc as well, which fits of the corned beef theme. The corned beef selling point.
And Chris is happy because he can still make it explode by jumping on it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It'll come out like a fucking hose.
I mean, if you could open it at both ends, then you could just hold the whole thing up and it'll just slowly slide out in one big lump. Then you could slice to your heart's content.
Oh, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could pick the bottom of the carton open if you wanted. Otherwise, we have a spout at the other end if you fancy
pouring your beef.
Squirting out. You're pouring your beef. Yeah. There you go. That's got something for everyone. Taking a break from all this solvenating we're doing.
All this hard work.
Yeah. We're gonna do a special section of the podcast, which I think we're gonna call the Solvenators Guide to Surviving Good. And we know how to solve any problem, right? But sometimes you don't have time to think about it, because sometimes it's like an emergency and life and death hangs in the balance, and you need to know how to survive good. So Brett and Chris are going to demonstrate a couple of dangerous scenarios on how to survive them really good. That's what we're going to do. So Chris, you can go first.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So because it's the first one, we'll do something that's really relatable to all the folks at home. Spaceships, right?
Cool.
We've all wondered what we do if we're in space in a spaceship and we needed to survive good. So, Chris, you're in space and you're having a tour of the moon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Look, Chris, that's a nice crater, isn't it? There.
That's a real nice crater.
That one there. That crater is a funny shape. Is it? What funny shape is that crater, Chris?
It's like a boob.
Can you not quite see it properly? I was like, oh, that's a boob. You sounded really resigned to that then. I'm going to think of something really clever and funny, really. Oh, it's a boob. It's just fucking boob, alright.
It's just a small crater in a larger crater, isn't it?
I was like, oh no! The alarm's going off. There's a whole breach. There's a whole breach, and it's letting all the space in. So, what do you do, Chris? What do you do? The alarm's going. Wah, wah, wah,
it's letting it in. What? What am I in? This is stressful.
You're in a spaceship, you fucking idiot.
Oh, okay. I thought I was on the moon. Okay, in a spaceship. All right.
Space is all pouring in, Chris. It's at your ankles.
I'm looking. Is there a hole? Look for a hole where the space is getting in.
Yeah. It's very big. It's the size of a car.
Okay. Is there a car in here?
There's no car. No.
Damn.
No, that.
Are there any car-sized objects around?
All of this pouring in, and there's like it's a bit like an aeroplane but in space. So there's seats and stuff, and that's about it. Really, and it's a solo tour of the moon. So it's just you on the on the spaceship too. But space is up to your knees now. It's filling up.
If it's like a plane, then I'll get the life raft and inflate that.
Difficult when you're in space. I mean, you huff and puff.
I'd have hoped there'd be a pull cord.
Give it a good go. But then, there's a hole in it. It's like there's a hole in the spaceship. No. There's a hole in the fucking life raft. There's holes everywhere. It's up to your thighs now. There's just space. You're wading in it.
Is there any duct tape?
Get out of the way, star! What?
Is there any tape around I can patch the hole on the life raft with?
Yeah, you find some tape. Yeah, you've got some tape.
Cool.
You get it, but you're on the last strip. You know when you pull it and the cardboard comes off the end of it because you haven't gone. That's what you're at. Oh yeah.
This is a disaster. All right, screw the hole. I'm going to take off.
Oh.
It's okay. It's up to your hips now, so it's hard to wade through all of the space over to the. Where are you going? I don't know. Just wading around in a circle right now.
Have I got a spacesuit on?
Yeah. No.
Well, let's do that. And I'll put a spacesuit on.
Okay. You put a spacesuit on, but the helmet's cracked.
Oh, for crying out loud. Is there another one? There's no one else here, is there?
No, there's only one. Just the one for you, and it's on autopilot.
All right,
it's in the future and don't need pilots in space anymore. All
right, we're taking off. We're leaving the moon. This is a terrible place.
Okay, so you hang on. don't jump out the spaceship. You haven't got a helmet.
No. I'm staying in the spaceship, and the spaceship's leaving the moon.
How does that solve your problem?
What?
I'm starting the journey back to Earth. We've got that under control.
The space is up to your nips now. It's like it's right up here somewhere. You gotta keep your arms above it.
Right.
It's not gonna make it so far away.
Right. I'm gonna find some sort of piping that's around and.
All right, you got some pipe.
Suck on that and hope it's oxygen.
That tickled me.
Okay.
Oh dear.
All right.
What's the dies he leave?
Sucking on a pipe. All right. And then you stay up. The space goes over the top of your head. You close your eyes so it doesn't get in your eyes.
That's good.
Then and you suck on your pipe all the way back. So there you go. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you're in a spaceship on a tour around the moon, like in the ship, you weren't on the planet like Chris, flying around it, looking down at all the sights. You fool. And then there's suddenly a car-shaped hole in the side of the ship. Then check the life raft. Check you've got some tape. Check that you've got a helmet on your spacesuit. And if none of that works, just suck on a pipe. And that's how you survive good in a spaceship.
Nice.
It's good.
Made it.
That's chapter 1. Brett, we'll do one with you. Okay. Okay. So your scenario for the Solvenators Guide to Surviving Good is that you just sat at home, right? You sat at home. Yeah, you're really happy. Ah, look at him. Can you see him, Chris?
Oh, he looks so happy. Look at his smiling little face.
It's fucking chuffed. Look at him.
I like it.
What's making you so happy, Brett?
I've got suspenders.
Is it a boob as well? You're wearing suspenders, is that it?
Yeah, I'm twanging them.
Okay, he's wearing suspenders. He's twanging on his suspenders in the privacy of his own home. It's great. It's not a care in the world. Except, oh no, you haven't got a care in the world because the house is suddenly falling into a giant sinkhole.
Shit.
And it's falling down, and the whole house is going. It's tumbling down, and it's falling. What do you do?
Get out of the house.
Okay, how it's going round and round in circles as you go, and you're falling off your chair. And it's just falling down and down as you go.
Well, I need to get my
you don't know which way's up.
Find my cat.
Okay. Well, cats, no matter how, like, it doesn't matter if you throw a cat or whatever, they always land on their feet. So as everything's spinning, the cat is just perfectly stationary.
Yeah, that's the idea. I'm going to hang on to him.
So you got the cat. Okay, you hang on to him. That's good. Everything's not spinning anymore.
Yay.
Using the magic of your cat. So you're good, okay?
Phew.
The house is still spinning, falling downwards. At some point, it's going to hit the floor, you guess.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
So I'm going to
just float in there.
Making my way to the nearest door or window.
Okay, you make your way over to the window. There it is. You're at the window. And what now?
I'm picturing like someone climbing a mountain with like a pickaxe, but it's just Brett with a cat in one hand, just going across the floor.
I've got to open the window, Phil.
All right, it's open.
Oh,
well done.
All right, cool. Climb out of it.
Okay, so the house just falling, and you're outside the window, falling alongside it because you've reached your terminal velocity. You're just falling at the same speed. So now you're outside your house, but you're still falling into a sinkhole. So now what? You're outside and falling into this big sinkhole.
Is my car? Has that gone down the sinkhole as well?
The car is a tyre has.
A tyre? I'll take that. I'll just pick it up just in case I need it.
Yeah. Okay. Cat in one hand, tyre in the other. What next?
Okay. Let's have a look. Have I got any... Ooh, I've got like a gas boiler. Is the gas supply still connected to the house?
Yeah, why not?
Right.
Well, no, it wouldn't be because it's fallen down the hole. That'd be a very long pipe.
I might have a very long pipe.
No. Chris is at it. That's how he's breathing.
Bastard. I'm in trouble now.
So, no, you got no gas, I'm afraid.
Okay.
What are you going to do? Getting quite close to the bottom now.
Right.
You can hear echoing.
I'm going to go back inside for a bit.
Okay, he heads back inside the house.
Yeah, bad look around.
And then you haven't got long. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna grab a...
Yeah, here it comes. Game changer. Ready for this?
Shit.
Oh, it's exciting.
I'm gonna grab a cocaine.
Okay, you've got a grab of cocaine.
Okay,
fine.
Right, bang that back.
Hang on, what hand are you going to hold it? 'Cause you've got a tyre in one hand and a cat in the other.
Well, for a second, I'm going to put the cat down. No, I'm not, because he'll fuck off. I'm going to thread my arms, one arm through the tyre, just like it's a bracelet.
Okay.
Glad you said tyre.
Sure.
Yeah. Take my.
Okay. Yeah, you got your grandma cocaine. Now what?
Okay. Eat that. Nom nom nom.
Okay. Yeah.
Then with cat in one hand and wheel in the other,
Yeah.
I will travel back up the shaft with all the energy I've got now.
Oh, because you're high, right? Because you're on cocaine. You just leap out, grab the side of the sinkhole, and just climb your way back out.
Yeah, make myself a kind of human car cat climbing machine. I've got suspenders as well, so I can use them to hook onto any outcrops of rock.
Oh, there you go. All right. So, if your house ever suddenly falls into a sinkhole, first things first, grab the cat.
Yeah.
And then head outside and get a tyre. Then come back inside with the tyre. Still holding on to your cat, right? Take a grab of cocaine. That should definitely be in everybody's first aid box, I should just say.
Yep.
Yeah, because of situations like this. Take your gram of cocaine, and then using the cat, your suspenders, and the tyre, you just create yourself a bizarre climbing contraption and climb out high off your tits on cocaine. And that's how you survive a sinkhole. Good. Right, well, food and drink's not going to solve itself, so we've got the trifle down. We've got the corned beef sorted. Chris, what else do we need to sort out?
I'm going big here. I'm going for maybe one of the biggest problems there is at all, not just food and drink related. And that's people who eat with their mouths open.
Oh. I am very much with you on this one.
I had a feeling you might be. They're the worst people, and they need to be stopped.
Yes, absolutely. And so many people do it as well. It never used to be like this, but my God, nobody cares about eating with their mouth open anymore. Okay, I think we should, you should be allowed to punch anybody who eats with their mouth open. That's what I think.
That is one solution.
That is one solution.
Just punch. They owe you at least one tooth.
You're not in danger of making food spray out of their mouth when you do this.
It'd be worth it. They can't eat it when they've got a mouth full of fist, can they?
This is true.
Oh God, I hate people who eat with their mouth open so much. This isn't even funny anymore. This is serious. How do we solve this?
Re-education?
Counts. Oh, re-education. Shut up, Brett.
Okay.
Just teach them the error of their ways. Rehabilitate them into society.
Education doesn't work.
Punch me in the mouth.
Bit of carrot, bit of stick.
What if we breed a load of squirrels?
Okay.
And as they're being hand-reared, we train them to only eat out of open mouths.
Oh.
And then just set them out into society. I think it would only take one instance of a squirrel suddenly leaping onto your shoulder and stealing food directly from your mouth for you to never do that again.
That must be a deft squirrel.
That's good.
Because people who eat with their mouth open, they do chomp as they go. I mean, the squirrels.
Oh, they're going to be very specially trained.
Fucking ninja squirrel. Why squirrels? Couldn't we have done something really can't we train fucking spiders or some shit?
I feel like a squirrel can get more food in one, unless they're really big spiders.
No, right, but so much more horrifying if you're just sat there, chomp, chomp, and suddenly spider from nowhere, pow, right in your mouth.
Oh, you can get those jumping spiders that leap directly into your mouth, chomp, turn around, leap back out before you knew.
Yeah, exactly. And you'd be like, "Oh my God, spider in my mouth."
Okay, cool. Yeah, specially trained spiders. I can go with that.
I do
specially
like
trained
that.
spider to just jump in there and nom nom nom.
What if they eat the spider to catch the
Then
fly?
that's just that's another punishment.
Well, fair point.
You could go the opposite direction. What if we just train something really horrific to? What if we train fucking bears or something.
The bear have a hard time jumping in their mouth.
They don't have to jump in your mouth. You're eating with your mouth open, and suddenly a bear appears and goes, "Oi, you mouth." Okay, you can have it.
Takes your face off. I don't know if I want them roaming around in people's homes and things.
Well, like, if we're specially training spiders, we can specially train the bears.
Yeah.
They're just
as long as you
quiet.
As long as you eat properly, you've got nothing to be worried about.
Yeah, only the guilty have something to fear. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that's pretty solved. I mean, it's basically spiders or bears.
Yeah. Either way, it's not something you want coming at you.
No. Well, definitely not. And you don't want them taking things out of your mouth either.
I guess
all of the
it's
above.
funny because it's like spunk. That's what I was. But also, food is that's what the joke is.
Thanks.
Bear spunking on you. It's not. That's the joke.
No.
Anyway, right. So, we're actually going to move on to a new section in a second. Before we do, this is a nice segue because food sex is mine. I think we need to sort out food sex because not sex with food, not just popping a fucking grapefruit on the end or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking about. What I mean is food sex is basically the thing that everybody thinks is great. So sexy times. Let's bring food into the equation, and it never fucking works. Food is not a good thing to put into sex. It pretty much always just ends up being gross. However, it's a good idea. Like, it feels like a good idea. You sort of go, oh yeah, but a bit of whipped cream on the nips, I'll have a bit of that. And then you do it, and then it starts to go kind of yellow and gooey, and because it doesn't maintain its consistency. And a person, typically quite warm, if that's the if they are. If they're not, then different podcast. But they're quite warm, so they make that kind of things melt. Like, you can't do like grapes or strawberries or anything like that because they roll. People, just not good bowls typically, unless they're just sat there with them in their cupped hands, in which case not sexy. Just there holding some fruit for you.
Feeding a grape to someone's pretty good. Like a positive reinforcement thing. I've done that.
What? What do you mean you've done that?
Okay, that's a whole other story.
Well done. Here's a grape.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
So yeah, you could. Food sex is right. Basically, we need to sort out food sex so that when people go, "Hey, let's introduce food into the bedroom and do some foody sexy times," it works. That's what I want to do. I want to sort it out so that we're all on the same wavelength here. So what do we do about food sex to make it actually sexy and not just a little bit gross and kind of unhygienic?
Well, I guess the problem is that you're taking things that are designed for one purpose and repurposing them for sexy time. So can we design food specifically for sexy time?
Good call.
Do you have an example?
Yes, and I will tell it you in just a moment.
Oh, here we go. Here it comes. It's another build-up. Here we go. You ready for this? Chris is going to give us the first food specifically designed for sex.
Well,
here we go.
Let's take your whipped cream example. Can we not sort of engineer whipped cream that melts at a higher temperature, for example?
Isn't that cheese?
Maybe cheese is the answer.
There are places you shouldn't put a slice of Wensleydale.
Sliced or grated?
Oh, there's so many things wrong with cheese. That's not okay.
You can get more in if it's grated.
More in what?
Wherever you put in it.
Fucking hell.
Oh my god, you can't do that. Just dip your knob in some grated Swiss and be like,
we're not
hey, dick cheese.
Oh no, not a good combination of words.
Exactly, you can't do cheese. That's not okay. You can't do cheese.
Alright, not cheese.
Also, I just, it kills the mood unwrapping the baby bell. Right in the middle. Let me just get the wax off. Hang on a second. Oh, fuck, it's under my fingernail. Why is it always getting under my fingernail? Can you hold this? Wait, okay. Peel that off. Take that bit off. Oh, it's fucking broke. It always breaks, doesn't it? Oh, for Christ's sakes. Alright, got it. Let me just pop that on your nip. There we go.
Do you know what?
No. I can't be doing this. Yeah, no, you can't do cheese.
Yeah,
That won't work.
Cheese. Or crackers.
No, crumbs.
Same.
See,
Crumbs,
that's another one.
bad.
That anything that crumbles, that's why chocolate can go badly. If chocolate, either way you make it, I guess, or whatever, prepare it, it goes wrong because it's either ridiculously sticky. So you go dribble chocolate, then you go, lick that off, but you're not going to get all of it, and then it kind of goes sticky, and then you've got some kind of sticky, gross chocolate. Now, have you ever eaten chocolate and got it all over your hands, and like how badly you want to wash that off?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Doesn't sound pleasant either.
Yeah. Now imagine that on your knob. And you can. That's the problem. Also, gets in your pubes. Oh, that's a proper shower jobby. If it gets in there, yeah. Now, you know, some of us are hairy, aren't we, Brett? Yeah. And you would have a fucking hell of a time. You'd look like oh, Jesus Christ.
I would have a nightmare of that.
No one wants that coming out. Hair stuck out in different directions.
Double checking which
Help
hole
me.
you got into, wouldn't we? Oh dear.
So then you decide what I'll do is you could have hard bits of chocolate and break off bits like squares of dairy milk.
Just like a whole fruit and nut.
Yeah, and you could put it in your mouth and then like kiss the other person with stuff. But again, crumbs. It melts really quickly and you get chocolate crumbs and chocolate crumbs smudge. So same problem. Fucking no, doesn't work. This is what I mean. You always think it's going to work and then you try it and you're just like, love, I'm having a shocker. Covered in chocolate. I got cheese on my knob.
I never combined chocolate and cheese.
I think he did. Philadelphia. It's quite good.
Did they?
It was actually.
Oh, dipping cheese. That soft cheese. That could work all right.
No, it doesn't. Because, okay, no, you might be onto something. Although, you know, oh, shit.
Can of whipped cream.
Yeah, no, you could have maybe some squishy cheese because that's not going to melt.
Not as quickly.
But squishy, like squeezy cheese is gross. So.
Oh, what if you can already get condoms in like a million different flavours? So what if we just go one step further and make condoms edible?
Oh.
For the purposes of eating a condom, yep. For the purposes of what a condom's meant to do, maybe not.
You'd have to eat it at the end, wouldn't you?
But
you could treat yourself to two.
One's for eating, one's for fucking.
So hang on a minute, isn't that essentially the same as just having a condom with, like, say, a Ritz cracker in it or something? Why make it into a condom? You might as well just...
Well, you can eat... You don't need anything else, you just eat that.
What, you just eat it on its own? How are you using? Describe...
Yeah, I want Chris to go through the process of how he devours a fucking food condom. In a sexy way, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a partner.
Come on, Chris.
Oh, you could do like the Lady in the Tramp thing and grab one on each and steam right down it.
How long is it?
But it's just it's not sexy, it just happens to be a condom. What the fuck?
I was combining food and sex in a very basic way.
Wow.
Oh, Chris just chasing his girlfriend around with a condom, shaking it out. Go eat this! Eat it!
No,
it's
it's edible, really.
You might as well just use those red shoelace things.
See, it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult.
It is difficult.
Food sex is a pain in the... Everyone thinks it's great, and it never fucking is. It's why my have us beat. No, it doesn't have us beat because we're great.
Jam?
Jam?
Oh, that's sticky.
Oh, I guess it is.
You don't want to get that. You don't want to be smearing that around a woman's crotch. That could lead to some very unfortunate misunderstandings. Unless you use apricot jam or something, because that's not red. So
yeah.
What
and
about,
if you can mistake that for a woman's period, then she's got something wrong with her. That's a fucking yeast infection right there.
How odd.
What about like cold slices of meat, just like a selection of cold cuts, because they're gonna stay applied to wherever you put them. They're not gonna slide off. They're not gonna melt.
Oh, very.
Just slap some slices of meat
European.
around.
I like it.
Yeah, like a fun continental breakfast.
So you decorate the lady's skin or the man's skin in animal skin. It's very sexy.
If you describe it that way, that's less appealing.
True, that is true. You can do that with any
very
food.
primal. I like it.
There is. I have to admit, the one bit of food that I did have something prepared for this, which is the one food that at least my way of looking at this is I don't think any food is particularly good in a sex environment, really. Even the cold cut meats are going to look a bit funny when you've just got a bit of pastrami slapped on a thigh. It's not going to look quite right. So, but I figured, what food is so good that you can overlook any mess or anything like that? And bacon is up there for me.
Yes.
If there was a woman and she had bacon on her boobs, I'd be very, very happy.
Bacon bra.
No matter how bad, like, the bacon might cause mess or anything like that, I am fine with it. I would put up with that.
Just make sure you let it cool down first.
I was thinking there's a hot fat issue there.
Yeah, not straight from the pan.
No.
You want it a bit warm, a little bit warm. That'd be nice. But yeah, no, don't just whack it on sizzling. Yeah, that'd be bad.
Yeah.
So
lukewarm.
Bacon would be one of mine. What food do you absolutely love? I mean, my big problem is I like soup, and that's not good. you can't just chuck a
getting this.
you can't chuck a mug of minestrone at a woman and then grab a spoon. It doesn't work.
Just sit in this paddling pool. That's quite.
Phil comes into the bedroom with chicken and mushroom in one hand and a funnel in the other.
Oh. So, what? Right. What? So for me, it's bacon. Chris, what's one of your best favouriteest foods?
I'm gonna go chicken wings.
Now, so this is my point, right? Chicken wings. Most people, if you said food sex, let's get chicken wings. Most people go, ugh. But think about it. If a woman, all naked and stuff, but she add a couple of chicken wings,
some really
right
good
there,
buffalo wings.
Yeah, you'd be fucking ecstatic, wouldn't you? Even though it's ridiculous.
I'd be all about that.
Precisely. Brett, what's your favourite food? What's your bestest favourite food? What's the thing you eat that go, oh, this is the best?
I do like a lasagna.
Slap it. Now, but that'll work. Now, imagine, woman, lay there. You come into the bedroom.
Yeah.
Brett, come in. You walk in there, and there she is, Dolmio's lasagna, slapped on her chest.
Just right on there. Yeah.
Right there.
That adds,
you'd be in, wouldn't you?
That adds a fun man versus food element as well. Because if she's weighed down by a lasagna, you're not going to get to do anything else until all the lasagna's gone. So you've got like the challenge of eating all the lasagna first, and then she can she can finally move again.
You're assuming you can't do anything while the woman's weighed down.
So there you go. Voila. Food sex sorted. That is the answer is stop worrying what the food is. Instead, just pick whatever your absolute favourite food is, no matter how ridiculous. Slap that on your partner and go to town.
Kinder.
Unless it's soup. Cool. Kinder egg. Pop this up, you love. Now it's a 4-in-1 surprise.
And you get a toy.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, on this point, right? Solvenators Podcast. Let's be fair. We're experts at everything, right? Which I'm sure you've been able to tell from listening to this podcast and our amazing insights into how to solve these things. So, I thought people sometimes might have embarrassing questions about their bodies or like other people's bodies and sex and genitals and stuff. And I thought, wouldn't it be good if the listeners could send in rudy questions to us and then we'll answer them right on the podcast? Giving advice like agony encores, that kind of thing. You see what I mean?
I see what you mean.
I do.
Okay, good. You're still there. I thought you left.
I wasn't sure if you're talking to us or the listeners.
Doing this section on my own.
I was trying to fuck my cat off, to be fair.
I'm glad you said off. Right. So I also thought it'd bring a bit of like a naughty touch to the podcast, which would be fun too. So I figured we called this section the Naughty Touch Uncles. And that could be the name of this section.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that works.
Yeah.
That cannot possibly be misconstrued in any way. So, someone's having a wee.
Just so
It's not that naughty touch. Hang on. Right. So here's the first. I got a first question for you, which is right. Somebody sent in for us, or a friend of mine. I'm not going to use his name. is when using a tablet or like a mobile or something like that to watch porn, and you're having a cheeky, pull in the pudding.
That's what I call it.
Hand shandy. Choke the chicken. How many of these can we do? Anyway, that. When you're having a cheeky wank, when you're getting close to the end, right? And you have to catch your ejaculate tissue. Right,
Yeah,
one hand is doing the deed. The other hand is holding the phone or the iPad. And you don't want to stop watching the porn while you're on the vinegar strokes. So what do? That's the question.
You've got to plan ahead. You can't get to that point and then go, "Oh no, I've not got enough hands for this."
But
you
even
need to plan.
even if you've planned ahead, right? Ooh. Even if you've planned ahead and you've got the tissues there on the side, you've got your tissues on the side. You've already used the sandblaster and you've got the phone in one hand and the spiked glove on the other, and you're giving it a good go, right? The typical way. You loosen the knot from around your neck so you can breathe a bit, and then because you're getting close to the end, right? And you've got to go. You've still got to put the phone down or some shit, or stop to pick up the tissue. You don't want to.
So, yeah, I'm aware, I'm very familiar with this issue.
So what? Okay, Brett, how would you solve this issue? Or should I say, how do you solve this issue?
There is a way of holding a tissue without letting go of anything else.
That's playing with fire.
Do you tuck it under one testicle? Oh.
No, well, you've got like your pointer and a thumb. They hold.
Yeah.
I suppose you'd call it a.
Hang on. What do you mean by pointer?
your finger.
Right.
And you've got your. Well, what you do is you wrap your tissue into, I suppose, like a tube, kind of like a silencer.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
You pop that on the end of your John Thomas.
What? Are you going to fuck the tissue? Is that what you're doing?
You have to slightly fuck the tissue.
Oh,
it is. I mean,
wow.
Can't
I mean, you're right. That would work.
Yeah,
that would work.
It's
this
like
is
essentially a Pope hat.
It's essentially a makeshift. Well, what? It's basically a sock, but you tissue.
Yeah,
that's true.
So maybe you think we should fashion a Pope hat? Well, you do. Tried and tested method from Brett is pop a Pope hat on the top.
Yeah.
And then you're ready to rock.
And you're trying to use.
Do you have anything better than that, Chris?
So that thing that you use to play a harmonica that like Bob Dylan has that you put around your neck while you're playing guitar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just pop your phone in one of them. Pause there front and centre in front of your face. Both hands free to do whatever you want.
Oh yeah. Oh, wow, that's quite good.
I call it the Bob Dylan.
I'm just going upstairs for a cheeky Bob Dylan.
That is what I'm calling it forever now.
Definitely.
Oh my god. Okay, that's great. Well, there you go. There's two very good. Basically, Brett's Pope hat or join Chris in a cheeky Bob Dylan. That's how you deal with that. I won't say his name, even though he told me his name there. So, do we have any more? I believe we've got one. Chris says he's got one.
I have another one. Are we keeping these anonymous, or are we just saying who sent them in?
We haven't. Well, let's keep them anonymous for now, because they'll know what their question is, and then we'll give people the opportunity when they send ones in the future to tell us whether they want, whether they want to be anonymous or not. Give us a fake name.
This one is from Steve. No, not Steve. We've got a listener called Steve. This is from Noah. Who this is from.
Okay.
Noah says, when you feel like your train is about to depart ahead of time, do you have any tips about delaying the locomotive to maintain a scheduled service?
Are you sure this isn't just a normal question? You've decided to make it dirty, Chris?
Noah is a train driver, but I think that's unrelated.
Okay.
Traditionally, you think of something non-sexy, I've always had a problem with this, but that's what they say,
me
don't
too.
they? Like, think of Margaret Thatcher or something.
Yeah, but this is why we're doing the Solvenators podcast, right? Because that doesn't work. Because people are still asking the question, and we all know that we don't want to be thinking about someone else while we're having beautiful love making with the person of our choice. Because then,
and more to the point, if that does work, it means you've stopped having a good time because you're thinking about Margaret Thatcher.
Or it kind of means you're doing it with Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah, it might backfire. It might set you off.
Oh, new kink.
Oh, Iron Lady. Take my milk.
Yep. All right.
Oh, very good.
So that doesn't work. So what's the best way? I like that we're all really stuck with this. We're all like, yep, we've all got this problem and we don't have an answer.
Can you just freeze in place?
Play possum.
Yeah, like a possum. Stop any further friction. Yeah. Like planking. It's good for your core.
What do you tell the other person?
I don't know.
Because I'm thinking they might notice. That you've just suddenly either A, gone incredibly rigid like a plank, or 2, dropped down dead.
you have to say T-Rex.
Why?
A distraction technique.
Because you can't move. The vision's based on it.
Oh, okay. Point at the window, say T-Rex, and then just freeze.
Yeah.
That's good. I quite like this. You could invent an emergency that requires you having to stay still. That's a good idea.
Could you pretend you have narcolepsy and then that allows you to just stop for just like 5 or 10 seconds and then just straight back to it again? It just gives you that excuse for little windows of a break.
Added bonus as well, in that if you get tired you could just have a nap.
Yeah,
right in the middle.
Sleep.
Micro sleep. Lovely.
Few seconds of shut eye.
Yeah.
You could really spice that up by pretending you're Jeff Goldblum as well.
Oh.
Why?
Because Jurassic Park.
Just pretending.
But
just chucking an impression.
What?
Do you not remember how sexy Jeff Goldblum is in Jurassic Park when he's got his shirt off?
I do, but are we trying to stop ourselves from coming here?
Life.
Well, no, that's for the other party.
Finds a way.
Well, there it is.
No, we're going to see which way this drips
Objects
down.
in the mirror are bigger than they appear.
Any more? That'll be some...
I think I might have run out of Jurassic Park once.
You can, I mean, there are. That is one big pile of shit. I don't think that's appropriate, though.
I mean, that'll stop you coming.
Okay, well there you go. That's what you got to do. You need to call out an emergency that requires you having to freeze so that she can't look around. Obviously, don't make the amateur mistake of pointing in a direction she can see without turning her head. Little bonus tip for you is to point behind her. This doesn't work so well with doggy style. So there's that. If that doesn't work, just pretend you got narcolepsy, and that has the added little bonus of you can have a little kip if you need to get your breath back. It's fine. That is a bit of a long con. I think you're going to need to mention that you have narcolepsy when you first meet this lady. So plan ahead.
Set it up.
Never hurts to plan ahead. That's what they teach you in the Boy Scout. Well, they don't teach you that specifically in the Boy Scouts. Anyway, so yeah, you could do that. And if that really doesn't work and you need to pull out a proper emergency, then just put her off, or the other person from wanting to continue having sex with you. Such as Jeff Goldblum, but in The Fly. That's a good one. There you go. So yeah, if you've got any questions for the Naughty Touch Uncles section, then you can send them to us. We'd like to hear from you. Any advice you want or any questions? We have all of the answers, obviously. So you can just send them to us, and then we'll answer them, and your life will be better. Your sex life will be better, and that's 10 times greater than just your normal boring life being better. So, cool. You can send them to us on our Twitter account, because we've got a Twitter account, because we are super trendy. It's Twitter at Solvenators. It's not Twitter at Solvenators. It's not like fucking. It's on Twitter at Solvenators. You can send it to us on our Facebook page as well. If you just type Solvenators into Facebook, you'll find us. Send them to us. Be good. You can put a little hashtag on it that says "touch me." And the naughty touch uncles will touch you with their amazing knowledge. See what I did there? Hashtag touch me. There you go.
Oh dear.
Food and drink's not 100. We need to carry on with this food and drink shit. So Brett, what else? What else we've got to solve in the food and drink world?
There isn't,
because we're nearly there. We've done a fair bit here. So for just a few more, I reckon we'll have it.
There is one
sorted.
other problem I'd like to solve regarding food.
Yeah.
We need to do something about the stigma around cannibalism. I think it gets a bad rap.
Right. Why do you think maybe it's got a bad rep because it's deserved?
No. Not really.
Okay. Right.
Well, I mean, okay. Sometimes people don't like cannibalism because it's implied that it's non-consensual. And that is bad.
Right.
Consent is very important. Nay, vital to a law-abiding society.
Yep.
But if someone is okay with being eaten, then why the fuck just not eat the shit out of them, man? I mean, just eat them. And, you know.
Yeah.
Because we've got a food crisis, we've got overpopulation. I'm sure there's a bridge there to be made.
Your suggestion to the starving people of Africa is, hey, if you're both okay with it, why not have a leg?
Maybe we could send over some surplus people from the UK. I don't know.
Yeah, like the people who are eating with their mouths open. Oh, 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yes.
Ooh.
Eating with your mouth open.
That'll stop people doing it.
Yeah, you just become a snack.
Although
yeah, I think maybe what we could do is reach a sort of we could come to like a, what's the word I'm looking for, compromise, right? Because the big problem is if you eat somebody, they tend to be dead, and that can be that has an adverse effect on being alive, right? So in order for people
that's
to be
the opposite, you could say.
Yeah. So if you wanted people to still be alive, it could be that cannibalism is okay if both people are consenting and the person who is being eaten doesn't die.
I mean, it's an option.
Yeah, because then, you know, you could just say, because then you've got some really cool stuff, like say somebody has a lame arm or something, they could just, well, let's just cut it off, cook it up, have it for Sunday roast.
I don't think I want to eat lame arm.
A few parsnips and whatnot. You could do it that way, or you could just, if you don't really like your leg very much,
yeah,
cut that off and
we've all got a favourite. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
Could we do some like DNA splicing with those like lizards that can grow back their tails and stuff?
Isn't this how you get rapture though?
Rapture?
Yeah, Bioshock.
Ah, I see. I thought you meant
there was that.
I thought you meant
Not
that
the
splicing humans of lizards is how we get the rapture.
Yeah, that is exactly how God calls everybody up to heaven.
I don't know if you've read the whole Bible, but towards the end it gets buck wild.
Does it?
All the genetics.
Okay.
We'd need a rebranding exercise as well. Like we need to get people on board with this.
Yeah. Like
some fun.
The first thing we're gonna have to do
slogans.
Isn't the first thing we're gonna have to do is solve the problem with prions.
Beg your pardon.
Go on.
Oh, I am wicked smart. Okay, right. Prions. It's when when protein cells fold, and that's bad because we do not know how to stop them. So you're basically, there's a thing with cannibalism. If you eat human beings, you massively increase the chances of this prion thing, and there's protein cells that fold, and that's bad because they just grow out of control, if you like, and they kill you. And there's absolutely no cure. If you get it, you're dead.
Oh, I don't want that.
Do you know what might fix that? Maybe
Not eating people, but that's not what we're trying
lizard
to say.
DNA.
Well, okay, lizard DNA. Why? Yeah.
I suppose it might.
Okay.
I am worried that gives it a bit of a negative spin, doesn't it?
It does a little bit, yeah.
Prions problems.
Yeah, which will scare the shit
Could we,
out of
like-
you when you think about the fact that everybody tends to chew on the skin on the corners of their fingers and stuff like that. Yeah.
What? So you can give yourself prions problems?
I'm not going to say that I know everything about prions right now because my prion encyclopedia is downstairs, along with my prion notebook. So, and I wrote all that down there because I didn't think prions was going to come up in the food and drink, especially C. That's why. But
Fair enough.
so I don't want to say. But as I think the thing with prions is they don't 100% know how you really get them. Well, they do know how you get them, but they don't know what all the factors are. It's a little bit like the cancer thing where they go, oh, what causes cancer? And you've got people who can do absolutely everything right, but they still get cancer. It's the same thing. I think it's like that. Okay. So I know that the cannibalism thing is definitely bad. There's some other stuff as well that definitely I can't remember, though, because it's all in the book.
So we need some R&D.
That I wrote.
You wrote.
I mean,
Prions
could we
and
like... could we like
Shit.
bulk out... What if we like bulked out the people meat with like other stuff, like IKEA meatballs used to be bulked out with like horse meat and stuff. So that way you're limiting the amount of actual human people are eating at once.
Hang on, that's good. You'd put a bit of human meat into all meat, and that way everyone's involved. Everyone's equally culpable. No one's been singled
Everyone's got prions. The new mutant race. It's going to be a short-lived but glorious reign.
Prions among men. I like it. Why not? Okay, I know why not. Because consent. Back to that.
Well, I'll be honest. I don't want prions.
That don't sound great.
No, they're no.
Then again, as long as you like put it on a label on the back of the packaging, you're basically fine.
Yeah, you will have done more than an awful lot of food fucking corporations do now anyway. True.
It's like finest organic free range human burgers may give you prions.
Yeah, and then
$4.99.
Because then people like me and Chris won't eat it, but the nutters like Brett will.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just like all your food's got shit that's not meant to be in there, isn't it? It's just part of life.
Yeah. There you go then. So that's
spin.
it. We're gonna put people in little bits at a time into different food products and then just label it.
Yeah.
We're backing and tagging humans essentially. And then if you want to have a snack on a person, you can. And the meat, I assume, has to come from somebody who's consenting to give it.
Indeed.
Of course.
Yeah.
We're not monsters.
It's like a donor card.
Fine, Chris, finish us off, will you?
I'm gonna get a bit edgy now, and I'm gonna bring alcohol into the mix again.
Why? Because fucking cannibalism wasn't edgy enough.
No. We all know alcohol is sin. So when you're in a nice bar with friends or something, and suddenly that person who apparently claims to be your friend comes back with a tray full of shot glasses filled with something awful that you didn't ask for,
right?
And hands everybody one. But as we all know, shot glasses come with a social contract that you have to drink it or get insulted by everybody. So how can I deal with having to have horrible shots? Either deal with the drinking of them or just find a way of avoiding them in a socially acceptable fashion.
Interesting.
Get good.
Well,
okay. Yeah.
So
no, I know what you mean. I don't really drink shots, so if I get stuck in that situation, then
most
it's
of them
terrible.
are disgusting.
Fortunately, this very rarely, if ever, happens to me. So, yay me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You're handed around the shots, you feel like you're obliged to drink them. So
yeah,
you have to get rid of the obligation or find a better way of drinking shots. Or hide.
That is what I'm searching for.
right.
So
You could
drop a little
trying
bit
to
of
think.
poo into your shot.
Are you just going to walk around with a little bit of poo at all times
What?
in case somebody gives you a shot glass of alcohol?
Yes.
And then say, I'm really sorry, I'd love to drink this, but it's got some poo in it, so
Yeah.
I can't.
Doesn't that risk them taking it back to the bar to get another one, though?
Oh, true.
Yeah.
You-
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't just foul your shot. Yeah.
And then when it comes back...
Excuse me, bartend.
Yeah, and then when it comes back, you're going to have to put another bit of poo in. And then I'll take that one back. And then it'll just be poo all the way down.
After the third time, it starts to look suspicious.
He does.
Yeah, true.
When you start
Didn't
running
think it
out...
through.
Oh, God, I've got to make a fresh batch.
So, right, I'm handing you this third one. I'm checking it right now. It's definitely not poo in it.
At which point, I think you should drink the shot glass. I mean, they really went above and beyond to get you to drink that. Don't drink the shot glass.
Crunchy.
Don't do that.
Well, I was in a bar once a few years ago.
Just the once.
stand-
Never went back.
I once. I had fun once. Stood around talking to a group of people,
Yeah.
and suddenly felt a moist, damp sensation on the back of my neck. And turned around. There were a group of people behind us, and there was a woman looking at me, looking slightly horrified, with an empty shot glass in her hand.
Oh.
And I said, "Did you just pretend to drink that shot glass and instead throw it over the back of your neck and onto the back of my neck?" And she just nodded at me.
That's brilliant.
But that's the thing. I couldn't even be angry at her because it was so brilliant.
That's ace.
Ordinarily, having a drink thrown on you would be a moment of anger, but you kind of have to admire the audacity of that.
Yeah. Did you keep her secret?
I did.
Good man.
I feel like that's not a thing you could do all the time, though, because the wrong person behind you, and then you will be eating a shot glass.
Yeah.
Instead of standing when everyone else sits to have their shots, or if they're all standing as well, could you take a knee?
Mm-hmm.
How does that help?
So you need to be able to play the national anthem at short notice and then take a
You
knee.
just look like you're protesting, I suppose, and while everyone's like, oh, don't know what to do here, do we bow our heads or something, then you can dispose of your glass while everyone's being impressed by your stance.
So you deal with not wanting to take a shot by protesting black oppression in America,
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, you could be protesting anything for all they know. You could be protesting being made to drink
I
a
guess
shot.
so.
Or they could just think you're praying. There's many things you can do with one knee. Could be shining some shoes. I don't know. The main thing is you'd be below their eye line. Yeah. That's it.
Take a knee.
That is the exhaustive list of everything you could do on one knee.
Or you could propose. That'll fucking distract him.
Jesus
Everyone-
Christ.
Cheers, everyone. And you go, Dave, I've known you for a long time now. And,
Or when someone hands you the shot glass, you slip a ring into the shot glass, and as you're about to drink it, go, oh, Dave, you shouldn't have. I don't believe it. And then everybody looks at them, thinks they're proposing to you.
And the social obligation's on them to go through with it.
Yeah. It's expensive because divorce is a messy,
It is.
long-winded proceeding, but you wouldn't have had that nasty shot.
Yeah. And then you don't have to have any more shots because you can be like, oh, well, I'm engaged and we're saving for the wedding.
Yeah.
I'm watching my figure because I've got to get into
Saving
my dress.
for the wedding.
Yeah.
That one works.
Dave doesn't really like me going out.
Yeah. I don't
He
like
beats me.
it. He beats
Help.
me. What? We're getting married and he beats me.
Fuck you, Dave.
Everyone get Dave.
And then you're laying the groundwork for the divorce early on as well. It's win-win.
True. All you need to do
I
is
was gonna
carry
say-
an engagement ring at all times.
Yeah.
I was going to say, just fucking, like, when you drink thing, just pretend to have an allergic reaction to it, and then just fall on the floor and spit it out a bit. Spit it all out of your mouth and everything. Because you'll only have to go through that embarrassment once, but that group of friends will never buy you a shot ever again, for fear that you'll do that again.
That is good.
Yeah.
That is good.
So you could just fall on the
much
floor
less
and on the ground, thrash about a bit. People will be like, Jesus Christ, we've killed him. If they don't fall for it, they'll just be going, oh, fuck's sake, Chris is doing that thing again.
Well, that's when you shoot yourself. Just to really drive the message home.
Just commit to the part.
You sell it.
Yeah, totally. You have to go all in.
There you go.
Just
But you only have to do it once.
Well. Just to be safe.
Yeah, so there you go. That's what I do, because you've only got to do it once.
That's it.
And then that
like
group
that.
of friends will never buy you a shot again, will they? So you're solving your problems for the future.
Oh, that's really
And then
good.
you can just never make any new friends.
Yep. That's fine. I'm doing a great job of that bit. So,
Yeah.
It's a different situation, and you have a shot, and someone says, "When you're allergic to that, then you have to be quick on your toes and go, oh no, and poo and fall over and die."
okay, well, there you go then. So I think that's all of the problems there could possibly be with food and drink.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, they're the main ones. I'm going to say they're the main problems with food and drink. However, there probably are some other things. There's some minor concerns, some little niggly things, like things that get your knickers in a twist, you might say. And see what I do with that? Clever segue. Right, they haven't even heard this yet. Shut up, Phil. Right, things that get you, like, your knickers in a twist about food and drink, and you want those things solved. So you could send them to us. So if you've got anything that we've done the main ones, don't worry about them. But if you've got something else about food and drink that bothers you, and you want it sorted out, you can send us your what's got your knickers in a twist, or your knicker twister, if you will. You can send that to us, and we'll answer it next week. We'll do a little callback. So last week we did food and drink, and Adam wants to know why you can't fuck a cucumber. If you want to send in, right, and we'll answer the questions for you. So that'd be good. So we're going to do that. Similar to the naughty touch on course thing, you can send them to us at Solvenators on Twitter, and you can send them to us on Facebook, and use the hashtag knickers for that one. So the hashtags are touch me or knickers. Brett. When you're not solvenating, even though that does take up an awful lot of your time, what do you do when you're not doing that?
I write fiction, so you can find my book Strange Matters on my website, brettallen.info, and on Amazon. Yes.
It's so, I was just thinking, it's so hard to believe that you write fiction with all of this factual information we've been giving.
I may seem like a dyed-in-the-wool intellectual, but I can use my imagination time to time.
You also said it in a very Christopher Walken sort of way.
Did I?
I write fiction.
Fuck off. You can also find me on Twitter at BrettAllenWriter, and if you don't have any self-esteem whatsoever, you can see what Chris is up to.
The garbage I spew on the internet is on there at TNM Chris. I also do another podcast about racing cars, and that's called Back of the Grid. How about you, Phil? Tell us your deets.
You can find me on Twitter at FlippingPhil, but you probably don't want to. What you'd rather do is go and find the podcast Twitter account, which is at Solvenators, as I said, and we're also on Facebook. I've said that to you before as well. You probably remember that. Just type us into Facebook and you'll find us. It's easy. You can find the podcast on Podbean, definitely, iTunes, Acast, Stitcher, and just about everywhere else you'd expect to find a podcast where there's very little quality control. You can send in your knicker twisters using the hashtag knickers, and your questions for the Naughty Touch Uncles using the hashtag touchme. Send them to us, please do, because if you don't, then them sections are going to fall apart. The theme music is called Shakedown by Gavin Luke, and it's fucking brilliant, in case you haven't noticed. So is the rest of it. A lot of other Gavin stuff is really good as well, so go and find him and listen to him. It's great, it's good. It's on YouTube, you can go and listen to him on there. That's about it. So stay safe, take heed of our brilliant advice. What was funny about stay safe?
I don't know.
All right, fucking do what you like. Put yourself in danger every day. Fuck it. Don't stay safe. Take a brand new risk every day. Try to kill yourself, all right? Have a go. Challenge yourself. Fucking hell.
If you do get into danger,
stay safe,
we'll figure
people.
it out.
Stay safe. Take heed of our brilliant advice. And next time you're trying to open some corned beef, and you think, oh, I wish I could pour this corned beef out. That would be so much better. You can look up to the stars and whisper, "Thank you, Solvenators. You're the bestest clever." We'll be back next week to solvenate more problems. So join us then. That's it. So goodbye. Take care, and we're all off to have a cheeky Bob Dylan. Bye bye.
Bye.